There we go. Better? Alright, we caught that one quick. Still learning, getting better. So last time, we slap chopped these little guys, and I screwed up this guy. Here, we'll get a good look because he looks much better now. So what I did last time was I did not wash or clean it. And these fine cast guys have a release agent on them from the mold. And if you don't clean that off, your paint won't stick. Now these guys have the same thing. You kind of should wash these too. But apparently the fine cast, it's a lot worse. And that was proven. Or at least in my case. So we got this guy nice and done. Looks pretty damn cool. But we're not going to use him. We're going to mount these guys. So I learned something. I did my homework. These guys, ooh, get out of there, you. And this guy, they're triplets. Okay? But they're triplets, yeah. Otto, Ethrak, and Grek. And the Glottkin is a collective term for the kin of Glotts. They're the Glott brothers. So, the legend goes that they're the sons of a farmer, and long and short of it is, whilst in the womb of their mother was sick, and she was a sorceress. She made a deal with, Papa Nurgle. He sent a fly down, which landed on her and eased her sickness, and she gave birth to triplets. And then later on in the triplets' lives, they grew strong and hardy, and then on the field of battle, their Nurgleness came through, and they started to lose their human forms, and slowly but surely over their time became these chaos warriors of Nurgle that are the strongest they've ever seen, or something along those lines. So, yeah. We got Otto. Otto's the oldest, and the scythe belonged to his farmer father. So he wields his father's scythe in battle, and he's a bit of a physical brute. He's also called the greatest devotee to Nurgle, and he's kind of the leader. Ethrak or Ethrak, I'm going with Ethrak. He's a sorcerer, and he melts people into slime, apparently. The little, burning remains on his back are the cremated remains of his parents, and they just are forever burning in his little urn there. It's pretty cool. And it looks like it's kind of growing or sort of balanced on his back. I think we'll do some cool green flames or something with that. And Garek, who's the youngest of the three, is the big behemoth here, who is, we'll say he's manifested it in his own gluttony for destruction and consumption, and that has made him big and massive, and his logic and reasoning has given way to brute force, clearly. So these guys are brothers. They're homies. They're not mind controlling him. They're just riding him into battle, and their little brother is protecting them. And I can really appreciate that's adorable. So we're not going to separate them. This monster will find another use for him, but these homies are going to stick together. They're bros, literally. So before I get to just want to make sure I can see when I'm going here. The Jersey Devil's birth. So he's not a slave. Nope. No, he's not a slave. He is a kind of free thinking. If free thinking is just smash what's in front of you. Yeah. So, I'm not sure which one I want to start with, but I will say I already I did kind of take a little head start. I'll go over what I did, because we're not just going to simply glue these guys on. No. According to their lore, these guys, Otto especially, like, he'll hang out from up top and cast his spells. Otto likes to chop people up. So I want to give him the chance to climb down off his bro and actually chop people up. So some of the homework I did first, so I can get a good shot on this guy, and a chance to switch the camera. Oh, it's not a very good shot, but we'll bring it up. So, right there, there's one. Right there, there's two. So, I drilled out some magnet holes earlier, and we're going to put some magnets into these guys. So, I'll go over how I did. I haven't put the magnet in yet, because I figured we can save that frustration for live, right? Why not? But the tedious, slow drilling part, I took care of that already, don't worry. But I'll tell you how I did it. I'm going to go back to our other camera. So I take this guy, and see his foot there? I started with an X-Acto knife. Yeah, I'm keeping the cover on so I don't stab my finger. But I pilot a little tiny hole by picking exactly where I want it in his foot, and then giving it a very slow turn until it kind of carves out a little notch. Then I go in with another drill bit by hand and like carve, and I go progressively bigger until I end up with this drill bit, which is the same size as the magnet I'm using. So the magnet's going to snug right into his foot very nicely there. So one hole's there, the other hole's up there. The way I lined those up, you can kind of see I put some orange paint on his foot. I just kind of stomped his boot into some orange paint and then planted him where I wanted him to go up there. The little circle remains paintless, and I just pile it through and then wipe the wet paint away. So hopefully it works. We'll see. Ethrak's hole and mount are a little different because the area that's up here isn't smooth and flat like Otto's. It's like a bit of a groove and wart covered. No, it's not even, it's kind of textured. And so when you look at the bottom of him, see how it's kind of like chunky? So I'm hoping that'll sit kind of flush, and it'll sort of snap down flush there. But I'm worried that if there's an angle, he's going to sit all kind of screwy. I don't even know if these magnets are going to hold these minis. That's the other thing. Sometimes I try to go on the side of small to keep it hidden, and as a result, I don't have enough magnet weight. I'll use this as an example. I painted this recently. Nice little tank here. Oh yeah. So what I tried to do was put a magnet in there and recess it into that little strip of plastic so it'll pull through that end, and on the inside there's another little magnet. The idea, it'll pop and hold. And it does relatively, but most of that is just being snugged from the paint layers and plastic. The magnet doesn't do a whole lot because this thing is way too heavy. Yeah, so this I would call a magnet fail. Even though they went in clean and it's hidden, they don't do their job. And I'm really hoping that these ones do their job. So we'll get to it. Let's watch me screw this up. So I have a couple tricks I'm going to share with putting in magnets, and some things to be aware of if you've never put in a magnet. I'm getting paper. That should be a hint. So one of the things about magnets... Oh, there he goes. is, I'm gonna try to keep this away from the camera. So this is all my little stack of magnets here. We're gonna use the little ones. So first inclination is these guys are really small and stuck together. So like that's 2. There's 1. Now getting this guy, the first one you can plop in however you want. The second one needs to have complementary polarity so they attract. Because if you don't, they're going to repel and your mini will never sit right. So we're going to figure out how to make sure that happens right. I'll go over some of the things that I've tried in the past and failed. One of them is making a toothpick or a pair of tweezers out of a toothpick. Doesn't work. You can kind of like set it up and but it doesn't really work. Alrighty, give me 2 seconds. The other thing is if you leave it down somewhere, it's gonna just gobble up any metal you have. Alright, let me see what we got going on here. Ah, goddamn hungry. Good to see you, man. Yeah, wish me luck, dude. I've screwed this up before. So I'm just gonna get out a couple magnets. Ooh, he jumps. Look at that. These things are actually pretty strong. So I'm just gonna go back to this. Ooh. There we go. Sorry about that. A little techiness. So one of the things I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna just show a few things first before I actually set the super glue, make it permanent. So let me just get all these metal bits. Yeah, try not to have your magnets and your X-Acto blades near each other. You don't want things like that to go flying. Alright, let's see. We got a good view. So we can see that okay, right? That little hole. Now, one of the things, a way I've kind of liked to do this is just put a little glue in there, take my magnets, and go boop, and stick a magnet in there, and slide it to the side. Pow. See? That easy, you think. He's nice and flush in there. I wouldn't even need glue. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of made sure that was going to fit before I did this. But watch this. This part's kind of neat. I'm going to use my thumb to kind of block it a bit. Oh, this one's actually going to do it. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use less magnet. Make this more visible. So we're going to take that off. Alright, his is actually really snug, so I don't have to worry about that. We'll try Ethrak. See how he does. So we snug it off. Oh, look at that. There we go. So if I snug that off, see how it flips up out of its hole? It's standing sideways now. Maybe you can't see that. It just jumped out. So, yeah, now if I take my magnet and start moving it around, see, it just snapped around and jumped right out that hole. We'll try one more time. There we go. He wants in that hole. So this is what I was worried about, this hole, because it's not even. So when I'm there, see that magnet's going to start floating, and it's not even going to go in the hole. It's just going to jump. So if I try to use the pokey slide technique, the magnet in the hole is actually going to like wow, 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 and it's going to like displace if there's any metal nearby. Like if you have a piece of metal or your cell phone nearby, your magnet, you'll put it in flush and it'll like whoop and just hold itself sideways. Oh, I don't know why that happened. But we'll just kill that. I think one of my Bluetooth things came in through my music. I don't know, we'll see. If you caught that song, you might recognize that from the stop motion animation I just posted. Alright, I'll stop fucking with this one. We'll get some glue in there. Yeah. Just turn the volume down. Sorry about that. So yeah, that was a song from a stop motion I made recently, and it didn't do well, but I love it. I watch it and it just puts a smile on my face. It's the first time I've tried stop motion. So yeah, a little bit of a tech hiccup there. You know, sound blasting. I might have to edit that out, like post stream, because I don't know, whole copyright stuff. Okay, what the hell was I doing? Getting glue. We're gonna make this permanent now. I hope it friggin' works. I've been talking long enough. Let's get some action going. Okay, so I have a piece of paper here. We'll get tricky with it. Oh, Jesus. My glue might be glued shut. There we go. Fine with this. I'm just going to go over to the comments. Just gone over here. Ah, okay. Goddamn hungry. We'll see you in the next competition then, huh? I'm excited to see. Yeah, I have one coming too. I can't really post or, you know, paint that one online. I'm keeping that one top secret. Yeah, glue's always a fight. I used to use the little like one-off squeezy ones. I still have a few as backup, but they can be finicky. And trying to save them for like a secondary project is nightmarish. You may as well just toss them after you use them, or hopefully use them for the whole thing in a big model. Alright, so I feel like we're gonna have better luck with auto, so we're gonna start with auto. So like I was saying, the first magnet we can just plop right in, so you don't really have to worry about it. It's the second magnet that's, you know, the questionable one. Okay, so we're just going to take a little glue. I'm just going to lick that hole. Ba, 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 ba. Now, because the first one doesn't really matter, I am going to use the pokey technique. We're just going to take this whole strand, go pop, nice and snug in there. Slide them out. Boom. That ain't going anywhere. But to be safe, keep my magnets away so it doesn't come flying out and glue itself to the stack. And put him over there just for a sec. Ooh. See, and there goes the magnets. Now, we are not just going to go snap a magnet into Grek here. We're going to be tactful with our approach. But it requires his foot being dry, so. Just give a little, get that excess, if there is any. Make sure he's nice and flush. Oh man, that could be one of the smoothest magnets I've ever put in. Now I really can't screw this up. So here's the trick. Take your paper and your magnet. It should be okay, and you shouldn't be gluing anything to it. It should just slide. Now fight your other magnet off all the other metal junk on your table. See, this is what I'm talking about. These things are a little menace. So we have a magnet. Let's get back up here. So we're going to take our paper, put it over, snap our magnet to it. That easy. And take our glue. We're going to find our little spot on this guy's dome up here. Here, let's Can we do this? You see up there? Make sure you don't glue to your hands or anything else important. Just gonna put a little lick of glue in here. I don't like that, so I'm actually gonna wipe that off with my finger like an idiot. Put another dab in there. Wipe your fingers off so you don't glue everything else. Very nice. So now what we're just gonna do is we're gonna take this guy with the paper and we're gonna line up that little boot in the hole there. Boop. Just like we would want it. Now this is one of the tricky parts. Because if you did it badly, you're going to get a lot of paper glued to your mini. Now you can sand and file that off a bit. Paper's not that bad. It comes off easy. But you want to sand it. Don't try to like acetone it off. But if you did it right... Boom. Aces, baby. Look at that. Hold on, we're going full face. Woo! Yeah. Celebration root beer. I'm gonna plug my local hobby shop here. Goddamn hungry, you know it. Woo! Man, that worked smooth. Hopefully it stays that way. Okay. So, let's take a little look up here. Dare I risk it? Oh, Otto, you genius. Look at that. And Garrett can like boom, 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 all the way into battle. And Otto ain't going nowhere. Garrett trips and falls. Whoa! Otto's still on there. Aces, baby. That's a win. Let's hope Ethrak goes that easily. So, he's got that funky little hole. Here, we're going to fix our camera here. So this guy's got that funky little hole there. And the hole on this dude is right here. It's kind of here. Let's go for a ride, Otto. It's kind of in those little bumps and grooves. So that's why I'm a little weary at how it's going to stick. But we're going to give him a try. We're going to do the same trick. There's a little hole there. It's kind of in his robe. Just behind the heel of his front foot. There's like a little divot in his robe that goes... It almost like hooks onto that pimple. And the magnet is going to go right behind it. Alright. I'm going to hang my babbling for a sec. And oh, that's weird. Apparently my thing's running twice. Yeah, it took me a bit of learning. I kind of had to do a bit of the research to get all the names. Like I thought the big dude was just the Glottkin, and I had to figure out that they were, you know, the Glott brothers. The lore is actually pretty interesting. I'm not like huge into the Warhammer lore and reading and stuff. Like I don't know it too much, but I have found it really interesting to like learn the backstories of the characters I'm painting. It just adds a little bit of flavor and direction. Like I did Severith with a rainbow, and that one was a lot of fun. I kind of pictured him before he got pissed off with all the music, and it was just like, You know, very psychedelic like. So, but learning, like having the little pamphlet of lore in the box was kind of cool. It's nice if you're not, even if you're not a gamer, it's nice to know the story, right? I do like a good story. Alright. Staring at this guy, like, crossing my fingers. It's one of those, like, I gotta do it, you know? It's like jumping into the pool. You can't sit on the side of the whole time and go, oh, I'm gonna. Just effing do it. Let's get that sticky goo on there and try not to screw this up. You know, my prayers to Papa Nurgle. Yeah, we're gonna do the little pokey trick with this guy again. Get off there. Just because that seems to be a nice starting point. A little bit of glue. Ooh. Make sure I have this in view. Yeah, you don't want to fill that well with too much glue. So when you press the magnet in, you don't want to displace the glue out, because then you're more likely to, in this case, glue the paper to your models. But honestly, it's better than having two repelling magnets glued down in place, because that's just the worst. Or I find what happens to me most often is my magnet will fly out of the slot, and then it'll glue itself to a stack, and then I'll have like 2 or 3 magnets glued together, and that's no good. So, as I'm saying that, I'm second guessing the pokey technique. See, it's like you drop and they just fly across your desk. Get over here, you bastard. Is that 1? That's 2. Ah! It's got glue on him and I don't want to put him down. I think I'm gonna need at least. There you go. That's the nice thing about magnets. When you drop them, they're easy to find. They find themselves in a sense. Come on. Ooh, that's a little sticky. I can feel that. But it looks okay. Ooh. I'm gonna give him a little extra second to dry, because its lip totally isn't sunk, and I don't know if I trust it. Not totally, not yet. That'll give us a second to check the comments and make a plan to attack for the big dude. Should probably glue some preemptive thinking, preemptive laziness. Must have some somewhere. Okay. Come on, come on. There's 1. I don't know if that'll be big enough. I have some bases, so I could just slap a magnet to the bottom of these, make them easier to paint on their own base. Boom. Just gotta find ones that will fit them. There we go. Nope, that's a mess. That's a maybe. That might actually just... Nope, he's not gonna snap to those. Well, we got 1 base. We can make that work. Do we have 2? No, just 1. Well, what we can do is just put a magnet on it and switch them out as we go. It's lovely thing about magnets. When they work. Sorry, fighting the goddamn door here. So this should be dry now. So we'll look at them. It's nice. Do our little paper trick. Smooth, not sticky, not tacky. Paper's not gluing itself to it. You can kind of tell. You can almost rub off wet glue, like wick it off with the paper and just use new paper. I find glue will reactivate itself. I'm no chemist, so I don't know what the science is behind that. It was not great. Yeah, the flying magnets, man, they're awful. I'll tell you, like this, the tank was almost a rehearsal of like how badly can I glue magnets all over the place, and learn as much as I can before I attempt this, dude. I'm actually so thrilled that worked on top. I was kind of worried he was gonna end up glued kind of like 1 foot, like on an angle, so he's 1 foot doing like an ollie or something like that. Like riding a skateboard, just kind of like, go, Grug, go! Alright, so we're gonna get, same thing, a little stick of magnets. We're gonna fight one off. We're going to get our paper in place, and look at that. I don't even have to, fight with it or anything. Just bang. Let's hope it goes down that smooth. I'm going to do a little test fit here. It should go right in there like that. Here's hoping. I'm going to get my face out of the way and give you an overhead. So you can see. Oop. See what I'm doing here. At least a little better. So yeah, we got that paper and that magnet, and it's nice and lined up. I did the same thing to landmark him. Like I kind of looked at the row where he was, put a little smudge of paint, stomped him down, and I'm gonna drill my hole where the paint was. I'm gonna put my glue in the hole. Oh, now I'm feeling a bit of a jinx here. So as I rub that toothpick over the bottom, jinx, I'm knocking wood right now. As I feel it, this one doesn't have a flat bottom, it kind of rounds out. So there's a chance I might glue some paper to this one. But I'd rather glue a little paper than have my magnet roll. And have him like glued to his head sideways. A little bit of that excess off. Oh, wish me luck. Here it goes. I think I landed him right. That doesn't feel right. Nope, did not take. Oh shit. Now we run into problems. Now we're gonna have fun, guys. Now it gets fun. Troubleshooting time. I'm gonna go with the rookie answer and say more glue. I shouldn't call it a rookie answer. The first go-to. Like my glue wasn't. It sat in that round and I was a little too cautious. Let's smush a little in it. Let's just. No, I already. Double, triple it up. Now be smart about it. Don't just dump glue on your model. Dump glue on your model with a toothpick. Okay. So that's where the stick grabs that. Yeah, preparing right now to have to take paper off this model. down there. Nope. Gonna go in the old-fashioned way. Gluing our fingers. Yeah, we're gluing our magnets to our fingers now. Going the old-fashioned way. Look at that. That was actually way easier. Should have started with that. God, I hope I got that right. It's like my temptation. Okay. Let's try doing the paper wick. So taking the magnet out. Alright, we're hybridizing our methods now. I don't trust to stick the other magnet on that yet. And that might... Okay. Foreseeable problems now. While that sits and dries. There's a little finger dab super glue on that. Sometimes that'll like make a white, like a super glue, a layer of tacky super glue on top will like white out. We can paint over that and the dude's gonna sit on it, so semi-problem. I don't even know if this is gonna hold this dude's weight. Let's take a look at that right there. Yeah, there's a better... It landed flush. I'm pretty sure I got the polarity right. And I'm not gluing my... Ooh, there's a little tack. There we go. Okay, I think we were safe to try putting a magnet to that and seeing if they hold. Let's see here. Paper trick. Yeah, man. Feel free to steal that paper trick. Like, I feel like I don't often have too many tricks that haven't been seen, explored, or used before. But I've seen and like experienced enough glued magnet fingers, and like once you glue two magnets together, they ain't never coming apart. And it's like, oh crap. And then you got to drill your hole deeper and put the two magnets in, and then it holds too hard. Like, I don't know. I have not great luck with magnets in the past. But the paper trick, yeah, please steal it. The paper trick is nice. Because then you can just like and slide it out if it's nice and clean. But it'll take some of that extra glue off, and you don't really have to worry about, like, you can take a piece of sanding paper and go, or a file or whatever, and just peel it right off. So this feels good. Let's do the let's give ourselves a huzzah moment. Alright, Ethrak, you gonna sit still or what? Oh! Yes! That felt good. Just the way he grabbed it there. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's could have had a big friend like that. He's could have carried me to school. Little Toki reference for you. Oh, I'm so happy with that. I am pleased as punch, guys. That was great. That's the best magnet smack I've ever had. Alright, so now we're going to dispose of the super glue so I don't glue it paper to my hands again. Wow. And as always, make sure you stay hydrated. After you sweat bullets like that, you know, it's good to replenish your lost fluids. So, I'm not going to sweat the next one, but I'm going to find one. There we go. Use a big one, because I always find I have bad luck with this next step. Maybe not bad luck, I just miscalculate often. I think that's my worst habit with magnets, is I miscalculate. Like, oh, this should hold, and it does not. And then it's already glued, and I'm like, oh, well, I gotta super glue the whole thing anyway and just bury the magnet. I've done that a lot. I think if I only had one other magnet use that has been this successful. And this one was way more successful. The other one I had to use, I used a round magnet from those nano dots. Because I, really didn't have anything else. I was just like, I need a magnet. So I grabbed this spherical earth magnet and like a flat post. And I used a Dremel and a diamond bit to like burr out a concave like sort of socket to fit the ball part in, and the model still like joysticked around on it, so it was kind of good because the model was meant to like fidget a little or be movable. But yeah, it was pretty sweet. I was happy with that. Yeah, thank you, man. Sorry, I'm just flipping back to the comments now. It came out. I'll take perfect. I rarely say, yeah, that one was perfect, but oh, shit, that felt good. The perfect magnet. Now watch me screw up the base. This part's pretty easy. So what you do here? Let me make sure we're watching here. Yeah, you can literally just take your dude. Doesn't matter what you do with your magnet. Take your dude and like hover. Whoop. Here, let's do the side view. We'll actually see it jump. I can do. Camera fidget. So this magnet is actually somewhat relaxing. We'll put it on the side because Otto's foot is off to the side. So if I put it like dead center, Otto's going to stand with one leg off. And I'd rather have him with a little more support. Actually, let's use Otto for the job then. So just take Otto, put him on here like he would be standing, and just... There we go. Done. Give that a sec. Even scooch that in just a little. Okay, no. No, he's happy there. I don't know if I fully trust it. It's a little, squishy. But it's good to just keep him there while I'm touching him up and stuff. I don't know if I would slap chop a guy like this. Okay, he can hang out with his bro for now. See how Efrak did. Okay, he holds on even less. Oh. Oh. Well. One step I did not think of for sharing bases. So this guy's magnet in his foot and this magnet don't shake hands, so Otto will never sit on that spot, and this guy will never sit on Otto's spot. That's, if that's the worst from this magnet job, I didn't even think of that concept of like making sure these two had, like these two repelled, because these guys are going to bind, but they're bros, so that's okay. But I could have made it so these magnets repel and these magnets would be interchangeably attachable. I didn't think that far ahead, and we didn't figure it out until, come on, you gotta at least stand on this. Yeah, Jesus. Till this guy stands on it. And this guy will hover right off it. So, you know what? The next Glottkin I paint, I'll know. I don't know if we're gonna do another one of these for a bit. For a bit. I think he'll reign supreme on my shelf for some time. I'm gonna take a little peek at the comments here. Ready for next magnet project. Yeah. Always learning. We're never not learning, right? Okay, so I'm gonna get my little clay bits and pieces out here. I'm gonna smush this into spot. Just trying to like mash the clay into my cutting mat so it's nice and snug there. So we can take our dudes and paint them. What do you think we should paint first, guys? Otto or Ethrak? Take a second to take a little peek here. Take a little sip of water. You know, I got a root beer here. I'm gonna take some of that. It's addictive. Okay. Hold on, let me jump in the next thing. I'll just. We got about 2 viewers. Yeah, so I got a little bit of super glue on my hand. I'm just gonna sand a bit of that off. Ah! Okay, we're going to use some Army Painter Speed Paint. I figure that's a nice sort of good starting paint to go. You can go under and over it. I like it. It'll give a nice swooshiness. We'll start with Ethrak here. Let's see if I can't blow this up for you guys. It's a little better. See if I can. Ooh. Ooh, why is that doing that? Oh, we'll just fix this like that. There we go. Bring a little light closer. Can you guys see that okay? I'm gonna do a quick camera cycle here. Okay, that looks good. And okay, that one's a little off kilter, but there we go. Oh, now it's looking down. I'll have to fudge between those. We'll keep it there so it's relatively close and reasonably focused. So, my thoughts are, I'm gonna keep their skin, their face, their skin, their arms. I'm gonna go with a bit of a malignant green on that. And I'm gonna go with a, not sure if I'm gonna go slaughter red or blood red, but we'll go some kind of red cloak and robe. I wonder if this will do us any good. I've never tried this before. Just gonna try to embed a magnet into our clay. Don't know if that's gonna help. Right now it's not because I put it upside down. Good thing it wasn't blue. Once again, I wouldn't be slap chopping. I don't know if I trust that completely, but you know what? It's good enough. 360, give him a little bit of an angle. I want to be able to see his face. It's the hardest part to light. If I can get that visible, everything else should be reasonably visible. Good enough. It's like you can't see his face at all. Way to go. Alright, so we got Malignant Green. Nope, that's Pallid Bone. That's Malignant Green. That's the Pallid Bone. And what's the first red I grabbed? Blood Red. Oh, that's purple. Slaughter Red. I think that's a little more of a luxurious red. This one's a little more, I guess, dry. I don't know, there's a little more vibrance and a little more, maybe it's a little more magenta in this one. I really can say for sure. You know what? Let's start with the green. I think that'll give me a better blueprint of where to line my red up. Yeah, some of these pigments really stick to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to clean up these magnets and drill bits. And get the flying metal out of here for a sec. And let's get painting. Here comes our Malignant Green as our first bit. So I need a brush too, eh? Having a paintbrush helps when you're painting. I'm going to use a dry palette with the speed paints because, you know, they're speed paints, we don't really use the wet palette. And for this one, I'm going to actually, because it's smaller, I'm going to do my best to keep him on this sort of clay piece and do the spin. So that way I'm not picking him up and running away with him. Okay, before I lock myself in, I'm just take a little peek. Okay, looking good. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this Malignant Green. Start on one of his arms. Just get a nice look at what it's going to be like. Ooh. Okay. Now, I should have a makeup sponge handy, and I'm gonna, just in case, for oopsies. Oh yeah, that magnet's gonna be fun. Let's get his fingers here. Not sure whether I want to do the staff like a wood brown or kind of like an ashy gray. I think I might go ashy gray, like kind of like dried out driftwood or something. Make it look a little dead. Yeah, that already gives some nice vibrance. Now I wanted to go with the Malignant Green because I figured it would look much different than Goreck's skin. So while they're riding on top of them, they're not going to be lost in the big mounds of flesh. They're going to stand out quite nicely. And they're still going to be kind of complementary to all those yellow dots. And I still want to carry those yellow dots over. These guys got some pock marks. And I figure a bit of the yellowish brown would kind of be nice to complement, but keep them different. My other avenue for this method was considerably sort of inverting it, painting their skin yellow, and then going in with the green for the poxes. But I figured I'd keep the poxes matching and consistent. And the malignant green is close enough to a sickly yellow that I'm going to end up with kind of the same effect with it. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm confident. Magic, I love these. Yeah, man. Oh, me too. Me too. They are, it's a bit of a, call it a front-loaded work effort. Like, the more effort you put into getting that nice sort of gray prime, or those nice sort of contrasts, the more it pays off in the end. But, yeah, it does make things significantly quicker. And I'm just going to go to, does that work? No, that's a little far. Let's do this. So I feel like the other one is just kind of, the bird's eye view doesn't really help with these little guys. So I'm just going to say hi from up here. We'll keep this mound of flesh. We're just going to go with it. We'll probably use another color. I see like an eyeball and some other cool stuff in there. So the yellow poxes, maybe some touches of color for the eyeball. But yeah, it just sits really nicely up there. We're gonna do the sore on his back here. It also has this real cool little, I'm gonna call it like a little tail or tentacle down here. I'm just gonna hit that. No one's even gonna see that really, but I'll know it's there. It's kind of one of the nice things I find when I'm painting some models is that it's almost like there's some areas of the model that I'm painting and it's like, oh, this is my little secret. No one's gonna see this but me. Put a whole hour into something no one's even gonna lay eyes on until they pick it up and go, huh? But I know it's there. Is that a waste of effort, or is that just something to make me gleeful? Or both? I don't know. I think that's kind of one of the whimsies of painting minis, is that no one knows it's there unless they painted it themselves. Or if you're sharing it and showing like, oh, look at that right there. A little eyeball on his back. Another little skin ripple there. Okay, I'm pulling it a little hard back here, so I'm trying to dolly it back and pull a little out. I did not use, now often I will use a, like the speed paint medium to thin it out a little bit, but this time I'm just kind of throwing it all on as I go. No medium, no dilution, just right on. Ooh, do you see that? See those little dots there? That's trouble. That's troubles. That's what that is. That's my primer. Or a layer of primer coming off. It looks like the black primer's still there. But I may have just licked off a little paint off the top there. Or I missed it. I feel like I might have missed it, but they look like they're too raised to have been missed. Maybe just the paint didn't adhere very well. Too thin a dry brush and not enough stickiness on the medium, and then it's like maybe I just dusted it with powder and cleaned the dust off. Is that, I don't want to say can happen, but I have noticed sometimes if I'm dry brushing really dry and then try to slather something over it, you want your dry brush to have a little bit of tack to it. Makes me think though, there is I think you can get, you know, products like pigment powders. I've never really used a pigment powder. I'd assume it would kind of adhere and bond like makeup. I'll probably ask my wife about that one. I don't know if she knows like about, you know, model painting pigment powders, but she'd be able to tell me about adherence of makeup powder. And then, you know, through doing some homework, I could probably figure it out in the middle. But it's always nice to have resources to help. And resources to help are available everywhere you can ask. You just gotta ask. So we're getting a nice little splash on that top part already. I like that. I'm gonna just slather his face a little in here. See, I'm already picking it up. I'm trying to get closer for you though. Let's move the camera up a little. See if that helps. There we go. That might help a little. Touch him up in there. He's got a pretty gnarly face in there. And he's got a cool squiggly looking maggoty tongue. I might do that like a pink or a red. If I'm doing his cape red, I might do his tongue like a bubblegum pink. Use some of that changeling dry brush pink. Kind of waiting for an excuse to just bulldoze in with that towards the end. And that'll help bring a bit of softness and sickness. Kind of like that cyanosis pink. I don't know if that would match as well with green as much as it would blue. But it does look very inflamed. That changed the pink. Alright, so I'm just kind of slopping this stuff on, working my way in the cracks. I'm not too worried about making a mess or getting it on places that I'm... Ooh, I can just wipe it off as I go, which is nice. And hit his belly here, his armpit. Yeah. Kind of wanted to wait for the... Belly's almost like a grand finale sloosh. Blah. We'll probably dry brush some yellow for those pox marks. Maybe do a bit of color for that birthmark. So that was the other thing that I learned, is that all the brothers share that like 3 rounded circle birthmark, which I guess is like the Nurgle symbol or something. Once again, if there's any knowledgeable people in the or more knowledgeable people in the comment section, feel free to straighten out my lore. I'm just kind of going off when I'm reading and interpreting. But yeah, all these triplets were born with the same birthmark. So I'll probably, maybe I'll lick a little bit of color on something on that just to make it identifiable on all 3 of them. Okay, he's got a little bit of belly in there. I gotta get the side gut. Ooh, watch the robe. But don't worry too much about it, because you can clean it off. So boldly go forward. Now the paint is on and glues in. It's there's no going backwards. A little more drop this. Kind of wondering how the pallid bone, I've never mixed. Oops, yeah, let's paint with that. So I've never mixed, well, at least I don't think I've mixed. Yeah, no, there's no pallid bone on that. I've never let the pallid bone and the malignant green shake hands as speed paints. Like, I've never put them shoulder to shoulder on the next project or any project. So I'm kind of curious to see how, if I start licking these horns with just pallid bone, what'll happen. So that does look kind of nice. And I don't want to go too high with them. Oh yeah, look at that. Things right off. Come here, you. Little dabby dabby. Dab, 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 dab. Done. What did I want? I wanted that armpit. Oh yeah, Nurgle armpit. I want that Nurgle armpit. I bet you that's a sentence that is not uttered often. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, this guy's got 3 arms. I was gonna say Nurgles must be mostly armpit. And I mean that in the best way. But these guys are always gross and sticky looking. Which is actually a lot of fun to paint. Okay, we're getting a nice little sickly coating on him. Do a little dab of just in the tears of his cloak here, so it looks like he's shining through. A little bit of his grossness. Hold that there, hold that there. And push a little more on his face there. And try to get any pool. Alright, it's looking alright. I think we'll switch to the Slaughter Red now and do his robes. Slaughter Red I might dilute a little just to kind of take some of the punch out. Whilst I do this, I will check the comments. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Take care, man. Yeah, right in the swampy pit. Alright, well, thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out. And I can't wait to see your project come, I guess it's the next week or 2. So, yeah. Yeah, game on, man. I'm excited to see it. Cheers and have a good night. Okay, so, yeah, Slaughter Red. I'm going to take a little root beer break. While we're, while we're taking a little plug at our local gaming store contests, Addictive Hobbies and Games in Oshawa. They do some painting contests like every month, every other month. You know, nothing like Golden Demon, but like some of the stuff that comes in, I would say damn near you can walk home with the Golden Demon. The local artists are phenomenal. Everyone's entries are always so good. So I'm excited to see what comes of this one. And I'll say I can't tell you, or I won't give the spoiler as to what I'm painting for it. But it is a large hero, over 60mm base, 60mm or bigger is the category for a legendary or a hero, and it isn't the Glottkin. Like it's already kind of, you know, the jig is up with this guy, so I can't really sneak him in. Okay, I'm just gonna You know what? I'm pretty sure I just put a little more of that there, so I'm actually gonna try that sets. Oh, right. That doesn't stay down. That's okay. We're in clay, so what we can do is dig up our magnet, just flip it. Boom. There. Now snap our foot down. Oh no. Why are you not working? I would have thought that trick was gonna work. Should I not flip it fully? Yeah, I think that was all. I think I just kind of plugged it halfway. There we are. There. Auto glot. There's the top of his scythe. I don't know if we'll need to see. Oh, wow. From here, he looks great up there. Look at that. Wow. That red is going to pop right off. Maybe a teal. Now that I'm seeing that, maybe a teal would look very regal and still... Now I don't know what the hell I'm going to paint that robe. I got to stop doing that. Let's get back to Glottkin. Glottkin for Otto the Glottkin. Yeah, we're just gonna go get his folds and his belly. I'm gonna try to avoid getting like the straps and everything colored. But with the speed paint, I think that's gonna be difficult. Like, I think if it wants to pull on some of these straps, I won't be able to stop it. So just kind of embrace it for now, and if I need to come over it with like a thicker, like a Mornfang brown base coat, and then go back over it after, I'll probably do that. Okay, so yeah, he's doing skateboard tricks now. He's got 1 foot on, 1 foot off, so he's dancing a bit. Let's put a bit of clay under his foot. There. Give him a little bit of a gumshoe. Literally. Or a tar heel. I don't know. Sticky foot. Okay, so if you remember, this hand I'm painting on him, that's not his actual hand. Pretty sure that's an orc hand that I painted on, because when I picked him up, he was missing a hand. Yeah? Maybe that's kind of my thing, you know, finding that one-armed mini and giving it a hand, right? If you haven't seen that other video, that is a reference to my Space Wolf video. And in that video, I find a lone Space Wolf in a cabinet and give him a hand. It was literally a one-arm mini in a cabinet, so I gave him an arm. Alrighty, so we're gonna keep going with this guy. This guy actually feels pretty stress-free to paint, you know, especially with this contrast paint. And I'm saying that I'm trying to avoid these little chain links. He's got little folds and blisters and poxes and ulcers everywhere. And right now this malignant green is just going to cover everything. And then we can worry about adding, you know, flavor to all the sores and other areas after. Now the leather straps and stuff. The back seems easier to avoid them. They seem to be more crossed outwards across the buckles, and the ones on the front are almost like recessed into his fat. So, like, it's like the bloat is kind of wrapping up these front ones a bit. So you can see the malignant green's already gone over them. Like, it just flowed right over them. And on the back, the straps seem a little more elusive to that. Like they protrude a little more, so it's easier to just wash in those recessed areas with your speed paint and leave those straps back here. So I guess I'll take a second right now and ask everyone in the comments section how your week's been, or what you're painting, you know. Love to hear what you're up to. You know, current projects or life milestones. You know, I'm all about celebrating all the good stuff. Yeah, I gotta fight that temptation to lift him. See, I'm picking him up again. Huh. Alright. Let me get his legs too. Looks like he have greaves. Yeah, he'll have a pair of greaves that start at the knees here. So we'll just get him behind it. Kind of poke in some speed paint there. It looks like he's got a belt made of blades. Let me shimmy that a little to the side. I feel like I'm kind of drifting. So it looks like he's got flakes of chain, like shards and strands of chainmail. He's got a couple blades, a little more of a belly there. There. Now he's got that three symbol. It almost looks like a plate, like an armored plate, strapped to him rather than a birthmark. I'm wondering if I don't see another three-way dot. So I don't know if his birthmark is visible, or if that is his birthmark that's turned into armor. The lore didn't tell me that. Yeah, I'm seeing little bits here where I may have lost a little bit of the paint. I could probably come in and see this spot here. Looks like I lost some of the that's a little black spot there. Looks like I lost some of the white undercoating, so it immediately just looks like that dark spot sitting there. I will probably have to come in with some. I'll probably hit that with like a bright yellow, or like a solid yellow rather, or kind of maybe a chartreuse or something. I'll hit it with layers of bright green and yellow and manually lift it through this. Because I think if I just keep trying to like add speed paint on, it's not going to help. It'll just pull up medium and maybe even make it worse. Like if there's loose pigment, this medium might loosen up other pigment. So I'll try to be cautious here. He's got a little tentacle by his butt here. I'm just gonna get that. Those Nurgle tendrils, I guess. Alright. Oh. Scythe arm. How'd I miss that? I guess the back is pretty well armored. I'm just gonna lead him up here. Okay, so he's got two little straps for his armor. I think that's something stabbing his arm. I can't really tell. Maybe something hanging off his armor. A strand of goo, maybe, or rot coming off him. Get his hand here. Good, looking good. I'm gonna have to just do a little lift to get under here while he floats and does a 360. Yeah. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so we didn't fail the magnet. The magnet fell out of the clay. That's good. I'm okay with that. that's, you know, not the worst that can happen. Just gonna get the rest of his belly around here. And there's some strands. You know what? I'm just gonna cover it all up, and we'll have to do layers and layers anyway. So. Now, I don't usually use varathane between layers of slap chop and base coats. Sometimes, like, I might use it if I'm trying to be really careful between layers. Like, if I want to, like, make a save point, pretty much, then it's not a bad idea. Yeah, we call, like, varathane like a checkpoint. It's like, at this point you can hit it with water and whatever you've done there, it's friggin' on there. Now that stuff is not invincible either, but it helps. Like, I did my Gundam stop motion wrap, and I was, you know, it's a stop motion, you're fidgeting with them constantly, moving them bit by bit by bit, and after I painted them, I varathaned both of them, because I know that articulating them is going to peel that paint a bit, and it is solid. Like, me doing the stop motion, there's a few little areas in, like, the shoulders and, like, some of the joints that kind of marred up a bit, but overall it was bulletproof. So I'm very pleased with that. Usually I only add varathane if I want to, like, or like any kind of clear coat, like if I need to matte something out completely and make it look very uniform. Whereas, like, some paints might have had, like, a little bit of gloss shine, or, like, if they kind of dry differently, or you end up with a really, like, agrax, raw agrax with no water cut can be really glossy. So, anything that is glossy that I don't want, I will varathane. And anything that is flat that I want glossy, I will use, like, the glossy clear coat. So, like the octopus, for the blue ring octopus I painted, I used a glossy clear coat on that because I wanted to look kind of wet and slimy still. Okay. So, this is not the greatest system. That's 2. 3 falls and I'm out. I am terrified every time he tips over that I'm going to snap his scythe off, break a horn. Something like that, where I'm just going to go, ah, no, I ruined it. More than I already have broken stuff off. So I've already broken a good amount of pieces. All the little spikes and spears on top of Garuk's head there, they all went in around there. They're all actually in here. Same with that ball and chain. I broke that off his antler, I think, last time. Yeah, sometimes I'm a menace in here. Okay, we're losing this magnet again, so I better be really careful. So, my finger on his leg to keep him from bouncing. I'm actually going to pop him off for a second. We're going to take a quick peek up his skirt here and just hit all that underside with some malignant grain. Once again, this is a section no one's going to see really. I don't even think, if he's riding on Garek, I don't think anyone would be like, oh wow, this comes off, and just grab it and pull on it. I think that'd be a bold move to have faith that it's magnetized. So I don't think I have to worry too much about getting under here. No one's gonna see it. But I'll know. But, like, they didn't even really detail in there. It's just chunky box. Like no detail, no leg muscle. It's just kind of like wedgy plastic. So I'll just give that a little bit of love. There, he's got his malignant green. It's pretty good. We'll have to brown up all those straps and stuff. Slap them down. Ooh, yeah. Oh, it's really good. Alright, I'm gonna give my brush a little rinse. A little water for my brush, a little water for me. And I'm gonna apologize for the crunching. But I got some snacks today. Going with more of those wrap snacks. These ones are Snoop Dogg's OG barbecue cheddar. Sounds good. I'm sure it'll be good. That is pretty damn good. Okay, just so I'm not eating like a full plate of chips in front of you. I don't want to get chips all over your minis. Or those oils and grease. I'd be more worried about getting chip dust on my minis than like paint in my mouth. Let me just, before we take on our next step. Check this. I like the teal, it goes with green. To work on an LGS entrance. Yeah, I'm kind of like looking at that now. As he sits up top there, I feel like red will just look like more soreness and it'll have less pop. I'm thinking some kind of teal might have, like, he's a sorcerer. He needs, I don't know, the green and red does look good too, though. I'm stuck. I don't want to go on to the whole, like, I gotta reference this online and get, you know, someone else's interpretation of this. I do want to just kind of come up with it, but it's like that one of those things where you're like, oh, if I do it teal and then think I should have gone red, I'll screw it up, and vice versa. So instead of thinking they're both cool, why don't I go with either one? I'm kind of stuck thinking I'll screw it up if I pick the wrong one. Is there a wrong one? I don't think so. Tell you what, we can do a little testaroo of just like what makes our eyeballs happy here. We're gonna take a little down up here. I'm gonna find a teal. Ooh, it's not really a teal, but oh, it looks very blue on camera. It has a little bit of a sort of a turquoisiness to it. In my hand, that's scary. I have a mermaid turquoise, the D&D stuff. Where are you? Plasmatic bolt. I do like this color. So Ithrak should be. Oh, yeah, we gotta flip our magnet around. I didn't screw that up. I was only thinking 2 steps ahead and not 4. Just flatten this out a bit. Make sure it's smooth. we go. And that's our dude. There we go. So that does look sharp with that. And I'm worried this one might not look sharp, like bright enough. So I'm actually going to cheat and buy myself a little time by going after things that I know. Ooh. It's like doing a, writing a test, and it's like, go do all the questions you know first, and then, go back and do your guesswork. Always give your speed paints a good mix. I think more pigment gets settled on the bottom than we realize sometimes. I think Pallid Bone is one of the speed paints I use the most. There's so many minis with antlers and bone. You think brown? Yeah? Yeah, we think brown. And all our minis, they always seem to have some sort of brown. And Pallid Bone is like, it covers bone and kind of a brown tinge, so double whammy. I use it a lot. Before I dip my brush here, I'm going to take a quick look. It says good morning from the other side of the world. Ah, good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you, man. JP Super Monkey in the house, everyone. It's good to see you, dude. I enjoyed your latest one of leaving us a lesson of happiness. It was it feels like watching like Red Dead the movie, man. It's like I'm tuning in and there's a new episode. It's like, what's John up to today? But it's straight up, man. It feels like Red Dead the movie. It's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so I got my Pallid Bone here, and I'm just gonna start licking all the antlers. He's got plenty, and this guy's got a few on his helmet. I'm gonna start off with them, and ooh. Okay, now thought I had like a cutter, so it's just that piece of glue kind of chafing on my finger joint there. Ah, you're very welcome, sir. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little dabbaroo there. Now I might add in some sand golem. I kind of have a tendency to mix them together when I'm doing antlers. I'll go Pallid Bone the whole way. Antlers, spikes, bones, whatever. I kind of did it with that guy too. I'll go Pallid Bone the whole way up, and then sometimes it's Sand Golem, seldom Grim Black. I find that a little heavy. Hardwood Brown is another good one. That's probably one of the most natural looking ones, but it is a little darker than Sand Golem, but has less of that warmth and oranginess. Japanese beer. Oh man, yeah, we love our beer, and I gotta say, dude, Japan makes like Asahi is some of my favorite beer. It has such a crisp taste. It's like it's got a clean refreshingness to it that I don't know. It's good. I like it. Yeah, we do like our beer. We try to collect beer from all over the world. But I will say, yeah, my compliments to Japan. I've always liked Japanese cuisine, and Japanese beer is really good. Like I would say, like the generic Canadian beers. This might be blasphemy here, but like your generic Canadian beer, just kind of is. It doesn't cut it as far as like a nice quality. Sometimes like a Molson Canadian is kind of like a not a dime a dozen beer. That'd be way too much. But like I don't know. There's something about a nice like the Sapporo and Asahi, I will say, are in the quality import aisle, and they belong there. They're awesome. I don't know. I gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite territories of food and cuisine. Don't like U.S. beer. Yeah, I feel like that the Coors, the Bud Light, those the your generic North American, call it your sponsorship beers, your sports bar beers. Yeah, sometimes they just leave something to be desired. Like they're just very plain. But yeah, the first time I had an Asahi, I was like, wow, that is crisp. Like they describe it as a crisp, dry, refreshing taste, and like they nail it. I'm actually just really glad you were able to see the stop motion I made, man. I gotta say I had a lot of fun making it. I put some work into it. Like it wasn't a quick film. It took a while. There's a lot of photos in it. And when I released it, it flopped. Like it did worse than almost any other video. And I can't figure, maybe it's because I wasn't painting in it, or maybe YouTube didn't know where to send it. It's like, it's animations, send it to animators, or I don't know. I won't pretend to talk like I know the algorithm or anything, but it just felt weird that I felt like it was a really good, fun little clip, and even for a short, it just like it got like 8 views. I think it's probably a little more now, but. Like it just for the amount of work that went into it, I was kind of hoping it would do better. So sorry, I don't want to gripe too much about that. I'm happy with it. Every time I watch it, it makes me smile. I'll be honest, I don't even understand fully the lyrics. I tried to Google them, and like looking it up. It gave me a few different, let's say, interpretations. But my understanding of it was like kind of like a classic float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, like your kind of Muhammad Ali battle punch flow. I know it was really cool. I liked the song. It had such a good feel. So yeah, thank you for seeing it. that really makes me happy. Time to take to stop motion. So one of the actually, I'll share a bit of what I learned over the process of making it while I'm painting here. Hopefully, you guys can still see this mini and I'm not drifting too much. So one of the things I learned about it was that the timing, especially to do a music video, was quite tricky, I'll say. Because there's a matter of the increments of moving your miniature or your model. Like if you want to speed up, do you increase the size of the increment of the movement? Or in editing, do you take all the increments the same, and then in editing just put them together and speed up that clip? It's not the same for every clip, because you want it's almost like you're trying to warp time in pictures. So you almost have to take pictures and edit in tandem to know what you want. I'm sure with a little better planning, one could do it better. But for my first one, I kind of just went by the seat of my pants. And it turned out okay. Alright, are there any more bones on this guy? Can I buy any more time here? I see one. I can... Here, missed it. Doing it. There we go. Yep. Okay. So, I'm seeing where the pallid bone shakes hands with the malignant green, and it kind of gives... I almost want to say a bit of an oxidized color. Like, kind of like a rusty greenish. Maybe something along akin to brass. Brassy, but flat. Okay, well, call that his horn's done. Ooh. Get on there, you. Oh, that is so convenient to just smack them on and off him. It is so inconvenient to have this magnet upside down for every single one. But, small problems. Not a bad thing. Why is that stuck? Oop. It's... I wouldn't say better, man. It's, I'm just doing different stuff, right? I would, like, if you anytime you take in the editing room is, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing editing. Editing takes a long time, and I'd respect anyone sitting and creating content and editing things together, because it is not, no matter what you're doing, it is not easy, and it is not quick. Like, honestly, I kind of love the I'll call it the Red Dead show. It's fun. Actually, notice I feel like the lesson to learn, the John leaves us a lesson video. I feel like that one actually did really well too. I could feel it had good feels, you know. Like I said, it feels like I'm watching a movie. That would actually be really cool to, like, that one would be a lot of work in editing, but like as you collect those pieces, put them together, and, like, you know, throw some sound effects and music and make, like, you know, Red Dead the movie. That would be pretty cool, man. Like, I'm kind of just visioning it in my head, like, that'd be neat. I feel like that would be a long one. That's one of those, like, forever in the editing room taking all the clips. That's a long one too, because you'd have to play through the whole game and beat it, or as much as you could to, like, have the story done. A little bit of side flavor. But yeah, it's like, I feel that's something, especially with the style of videos that you're doing, is that you might not even think, like playing a game takes a long time. I bet you some games take longer to beat than I take painting a piece. I bet you some games take way longer. You know, if you've played any of the Souls or Bloodborne or Elden Ring, like, I know there's files hundreds and hundreds of hours, and there are people who will paint a painting for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I have not put in hundreds and hundreds of hours to one piece yet. Haven't put in that devotion. I've put many an hour, but not hundreds. JP, would you ever consider doing another live stream? I know you said you did one before, and you know its turnout was not to your favor. You said, but would you ever? I've noticed your following's kind of been bumping up too. Would you try it again, or? Because that was another thing I liked about your videos. Some of them, like where I kind of had you in the corner, kind of like laughing and joking. Those ones made me smile too. Like a different style. It wasn't really the Red Dead show. It was like those were more of like a gamer shorts feel. But I kind of like that reaction. 120 hours. Oh my goodness, that's a grind, dude. That is a grind. But you know what? Like when I think about like a game like Fallout or Elden Ring, like it doesn't sound out of place. You know, that sounds like a good, consistent, and progressive grind. Like you're not slacking, you're hustling. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you can play that many hours in a game, then you know it's a good game. I'm trying to think what games I've put that many hours into. Fallout's probably one of them. I very much enjoyed the Fallout series. We're just gonna make this guy's helmet bone. It looks kind of like bone. I'm seeing that there, and if I don't like what happens, I can sponge it off. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, I kind of like it. Cool. Man, if you do, let me know. I would happily tune in. Would you do like just sort of straight gameplay, online play? You know, just kind of shred through and hang. Kind of like I'm just kind of painting, hanging out with everyone. Soaking a little bit of pallid bone on his face here. We're gonna let it cool a little. This might have been a mistake. No mistakes. Happy accidents is what they are. Alrighty. I think I'm running out of excuses to go with the bone colors here. Hydration. A couple more of these Snoop Dogg cheddar chips. It's actually really good. So, excuse me. I thought these wrap snacks were going to be a bit of a gimmick. They're actually really good chips. I think I've had the Master P ones, the honey barbecue. There's the Biggie, I think it was honey jalapenos. The Snoop Dogg cheddar is pretty good, the barbecue cheddar. And I have a pack of, I think they're like baby, I think they're supposed to be like all dressed, maybe spicy all dressed. I don't know, but damn, they're good chips. It's ridiculous. I did not expect them to be that good. Oh, I just heard some kind of bump and crash from outside. Don't know what that was. I'm going to take some of this dark wood and I'm gonna put a couple little diluted drops of dark wood towards the base of these bones. And kind of see if I can work that magic between them. So I don't exactly. Just a little drop. And my speed paint medium. Nope, that's primer. There you are. And hardened leather, because we're going to need that anyway. I have 2 bottles of that one. There's our hardened leather. Love that. I haven't played Diablo 4 yet. I played Diablo 3, and I played like Diablo 2 on PC back in the day. It's a bit of a hint of how old I actually am. But yeah, old school Diablo 2, man, that was hardcore. And then Diablo 3 was, I got into that one late, but I really enjoyed it. Good dungeon crawler, and I feel like the 4th one could only be good, if not better. Man, honestly, I'd tune into whatever game you play, man. Like, I'm one of those people who will, I do love video games, and I will just play whatever. I used to play a lot of first-person shooters, and I don't know whether my thumbs got slower, my eyes got slower, or I can't hang with the new generation of shooters, man. These kids they're killing me out there. So I've kind of accepted my defeat in that. But oh geez. Okay. We're gonna have to figure this out a bit. Because every time he falls, if he's got wet speed paint, it runs the risk of sloshing around. Well, we're just gonna do these whole horns. With this brown, we're gonna hit the back. If we have to hit the pallid bone again over it, that's okay. We're just gonna make a little bit of a sloppy mess here and hope it all picks up. This, then the top. We'll see how that lands. I can already see bits pooling and washing around his neck that I don't really like, but it's fixable. Get a little more of this hardwood here, and get his scythe while we have it on. Just very gently wash down the wood. And because it's the speed paint, I'm not too worried about going over those ropes, because when you see them kind of pop out like that, it actually kind of gives them that kind of worn string look, and all I'm doing is putting contrast in those cracks. So I'm going to go over these. That might be a bit too much, but no harm, no foul. Let me get his rear end here. Let's see what's this. Oh, let's go. Oh, anytime, man. Anytime. Have a great day. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy the future. And yeah, keep me posted about that live stream, dude. I would very much like to hang with you and watch. Now, let's see. I gotta do the math here. It's nice. Like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I know I catch it early. I feel bad for that. We gotta find a better way. Maybe another day. Maybe I do like a morning and an evening, so I kind of balance out. Maybe I do 2 a week. I wouldn't mind doing 2 a week. Sometimes I'm staring at this thing like, ooh, I gotta paint it. Get hungry to paint this thing. It's like a half-finished piece on my desk I just want to get done. But I don't want to cheat. I don't want to make this project about myself. I want to make this project about hanging out with the people I truly care about, who truly care about hanging out with me. You know, it's a Friday night, I know, or a Saturday morning. Take care. It's good seeing you, man. And yeah, I can't expect everyone to drop what they're doing and come hang out with me every Friday. I very much appreciate it when people take the time to hang. I'll catch you next one, man. If you're... Oh, I think you might have left. Maybe, maybe not. Can't really see my viewer state right now. If you're still here, enjoy your day. And catch you on the next one, my brother. Okay. So we might dry brush a little bit of like lighter colors on these strands just to emphasize the tie downs for these pieces. But that wood on that staff is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Contrasted. I don't know, slap chopped. I am seeing some pooling that I want to get rid of. So I'm just gonna hose a little bit of that out of these pockets there and there. Just go poop, 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 poop. Anytime you see a little bit of pooling, you can remove that with a clean paintbrush and just kind of poke it, leave it in place, and let it all sop up like the quicker picker upper commercials. You know? Have a bounty brush. That's what I should start calling it. Not even the oopsie brush. The bounty brush. Sometimes no picker upper is quicker enough. The bounty brush, yeah. The quicker picker upper brush. Hey, I'll take whatever collab I can get. I go through enough paper towels, that'd be that'd be a good enough sponsor, you know. You get paint everywhere. Go with Bounty, because it's a mess. You just have to show just like moments of using an airbrush, and then you'd be sold out. Like, oh yeah, you want paper towel for that. You're aerosolizing liquid paint water all over your desk. Excuse me. Okay. So his scythe is good. Well, I still got the hardwood. Ooh. Phrasing. We're gonna go back to this dude. We're gonna flip our magnet ahead of time this time because I'm learning. Yup, getting better. This chunky footing is kind of making this a little tough. There we go. Good enough. We're gonna get his staff with a bit of the brown. I'm gonna have to actually hydrate, but put another little shared dab in here. And keep with this hardwood. Just kind of tickle around the staff here. Looks nice. Dots here. Kind of like the other on the scythe. You can actually go over all these tie downs, and that'll be okay. And then we can actually go over them later again with an off-white if we still feel that they're still too brown. Almost look more leathery when you cover them in wood. Flip them around, get the back side. I want to start, like I want to do both sides and then work my way down instead of like doing front to back. I guess because this guy's kind of skinny. If I go down the front first and then the back, I'm assuming I'll get like two different sort of layers of drying. Whereas if I soak it all around on top and then soak it all the way down, the medium that stays wet and active will let the speed paint actually travel and pool 360 degrees down this shaft of the staff and make a better finish rather than painting it flat on one side and flat on the other. Like, let it soak 360. And try to avoid his fingers as best as I can, but I know these two paints are going to shake hands and dye his fingers. So if I hate what that does, you can come back with a little more. We can change it up. We can use we mix like a base layer pea green and go back and forth. I do like this malignant green. It is very, like, malignant green is a good description of it. Try not to be too loose, but I'm not trying to be too rigid and like my lines. I just kind of want to get it on there. Don't want too many pools, but I want enough for it to be kind of slathered and collect where it wants to. Let it do its speed paint thing. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I kind of have a small regret not painting this thing gray, but that's gonna go away the second I do these, all those little ties. Once I do those more of a cloth color again, it's gonna pop. It's gonna stand out off that brown wood, and I'm really gonna like it. Call that ugly phase 1 right now. But I'm like, oh man, a gray would look nicer, but I also feel like a gray would make that little those cloth ties a little harder to do and make pop off, whereas they will jump off that brown really nicely. Yeah, I think that does it for maybe some of the hardwood. Yeah, see, I missed a bit of the malignant green on his hand there. I'll have to go back to that. Give it a little break. Great for a chip. Okay. Trying to think out what else can I get away with without having to start making the tough decisions. All right. I think plasmatic bolt might be one of the answers for it. Or it might be an answer for the fire. We can find something else we can hit with. Let's see. I'm just gonna sit him back up on his perch. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh God. If anything can come, like, if anything of this project, the magnets are probably going to be my favorite piece. The fact that they worked. I'm trying to think. More and more I'm looking at it. That teal, thought of a teal, seems very appealing. I don't have a speed paint with the teal hue, color, value I want. Rather something a little more blue than green. Not too sure. Check and see what the comment section says. Well, it's still pretty quiet actually, guys. That's okay. I hope you guys are out enjoying a fun and party-filled Friday. If you're not here with me, I hope you are having a good time somewhere else. Right now, the weather's not too great here, so this is my party. So we could, I'm trying to find excuses now. I'm making excuses. There's some silver I could start painting. There's always metal we could paint. I feel like silver's too plain. It would need something a little nastier. Let's see. Oh, gotta flip his piece here. Boom. Bit of mess on his leg here. But watch this. Boom. Will that wash off? I don't even know when I messed that up. Yep. Get on there, you. Okay. Not horribly reactivated, but clean enough. Oh, my stupid hand in the way there. Go with the armor. Armor or robes? could get away with maybe painting his front cloth and back cloth, and then see how they look. Because they're not as loud or drastic and large as Ethrak's robes. You know, Otto's loincloth will be inconspicuous. So we can maybe take a little look at what we're in for before we actually cover up his robes, and that way they'll have that matching brotherly kind of color. And if I really don't like it on this little robe first, I can clean that off much easier than I could polish off that. Maybe not easier, but less obvious. Try some of this plasmatic bolt. This is a funky color. I wish they gave us more teal and turquoise in the first set. Like maybe one other, like a green blue and a blue green, if that makes sense. Alright, we're gonna do the back side first, just to be safe. And I'm already seeing I should be doing the chainmail first. We're just gonna see what this looks like. Ooh. You know what? That's kind of pretty. There's something about that that says nice. I don't know. It's like it's there. It's not quite green. It pops enough off the blue. I think I like that. I'm just gonna give that a little buff off because I actually want to put the silver down, or the chainmail down first. But I think Plasmatic Bolt is gonna be our winner. It'll look different. I can't go the red because the red is just going to look as regal as it will be. There's going to be a lot of red in the oozing and guts and soreness on things. And I feel like a red cloak would just make it look like he's covered in, you know, guts and awful. So, let's see. So I'm just checking the comments here. Mix speed paint to make new colors frequently. It's an approach I haven't tried. So mixing the speed paints, sometimes it works, it sometimes doesn't. I find it's been a bit of a gamble. Like I've tried to use a combination of holy white and other colors and attempt to lighten the other colors. And what that ends up doing is it doesn't really lighten. Like if you put Holy White and say Plasmatic Bolt together, it doesn't exactly lighten Plasmatic Bolt. What the Holy White pigment seems to do when you mix it with other pigments is it flattens it. So instead of getting those nice contrasts that dip and like it just kind of makes it go on one tone with no contrast. Like it'll fill in the cracks, go over the tops, and just flat. So almost, unless you're doing it intentionally, Holy White will almost ruin it, and you're better off mixing the medium to thin it out and let the underlayer of white pop up. Yeah, I thought it was weird too. I thought like, you know what, I don't like how this goes, and I want this to be, you know, brighter. And the thing about the speed paint and contrast paint that I have to keep in mind is you can't, it's like with, if you have a bright, like the slap chop gives you the greatest scale to white underlayer, you won't be able to take your speed paint brighter than how it sits on white. Like how this malignant green, if I'm going to go up to his head here. Oh. I think my camera might have. Let's see. Oh. No, we're still moving. We're still moving. And just my screen is funky. So if we take Otto here and we look at his pustules on his arms, that's the malignant green sitting on white. I won't be able to make malignant green brighter than that. I can try to make the malignant green less malignant green so more white comes through. But mixing, I made that mistake, mixing white and like the holy white and other speed paints, like I'll make it darker or I'll make it blacker. It doesn't really work like that. Now if you paint like a color and then grim black over it, the grim black will almost reactivate and mix into the pigment. So it, like you're better off making them rub shoulders rather than mixing them directly together, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Alright, so yeah, I think Plasmatic Bolt is going to be the winner. That looked really pretty. I want to put the chainmail on first. And I want to use something. I'm thinking Tainted Gold. It's kind of like a green gold. A little oxidized in the gold. And that or just some straight steel and rust. I think that might be the best way to go. It's a nice sort of gunmetal-y, and then you can lift it up. It's always satisfying to speed paint when you wash. Yeah, chainmail's kind of nice. Now you got me thinking, should I? No, I'll silver it and then grim black it. So, I do find that grim black as a speed paint looks good. It's weird, it's like black but can sit over white and have white shine through, but it's black. But I find when you dilute it, like 3-to-1, like 3 parts medium, a drop of, it makes really good wash. Like using grim black speed paint as wash is like, I've done it in my Gundam video. I did it for that tank I showed you earlier. I do it for a lot of stuff. It just seems to go down very easily. Alright, so what are we looking at here? There we go. Fix that view. Sorry about that, I think my camera kind of drifted. There we go, we're going to switch that over actually. We'll change the scenery. Go the every cam. I'm going to blow this one up so it's a little bigger and easier to see. There we go. There we go, a little better? Hopefully. So let's get busy on his chainmail. I'm just gonna grab a smaller brush. We'll go with, this is probably one of my main go-to workhorses, is a Citadel medium layer brush. I just find it holds its tip nicely. You can kind of get that tip sharp, but it can also fan out just a little. I just find it's a very versatile, reliable paintbrush. I dipped one into a bottle of super glue, and like, believe it or not, it's doing just fine. That was enough for me to I managed to clean it and it held shape and was good. And after that I was like, wow, I cannot argue. at all. Like, as much as we can fight about the cost of their paints and, you know, how much they charge for a hand drill or an X-Acto knife that's not even a knife. You know, the primer crossbow everyone laughs at. But like, I'll be damned if this isn't one of my most trusty paintbrushes. But I also don't really spend a whole lot of money for like fancy Kolinsky saber brushes and stuff like that. So we're just getting in these little pockets here. But yeah, I find, like, I'm sure if I had expensive brushes, I would probably take just as good a care of them and have them last long. But, you know, as long as you clean your brushes well and take good care of them, they will last. Like I said, one of these, I have two of them, and I could hold up their, like, this one's got paint on it. I could probably hold both of them up to you, to the camera, with the tips clean and shown, and ask, which one do you think got stuffed in super glue? I'd be surprised if you could tell right. Like, to be honest, sometimes I have trouble picking. It's not the tip that gives it away, I'll tell you that. Just one's my old reliable, and the other's the standby old reliable. You saw a really funny post. It was on top, or top fan page on Facebook. And it was something like, time to get out old reliable, and it was just like this just stick person paintbrush just looking dead. Like, kill me, please. It's like, nah, you can't throw out your old reliable brush. That's old reliable. That crooked ass broken tip is exactly what you need to paint the perfect eyeball that you've trained yourself with. You know, the paintbrush with a crook nose that you can go in and like... We all have one of those. And you're like, oh, it's all bent. Oh, but that crook nose is alright. I can get in. I can use that somehow. And then once crook nose dies, it becomes stippler. Sneak in there and get his the front of his chainmail here. This side, the chainmail sits over the cloth instead of the cloth sitting over the chainmail. Which kind of threw me there. I was like, what? Shouldn't I be going deeper on this? But the cloth is actually the most recessive part. No worries. All gets painted regardless. So you're just kind of getting ears. Maybe I can switch this angle a little so you have a little better view. Some chaos outside in the streets. His belly rings. Looks like he's got some of these like piercings, kind of like his brother Greg. I don't know if I want to paint his plates and armor the same silver. I feel like they could use some full color. And I'm wondering if I did myself a disservice with the non-metal metallics and the metallics here. Like, it's such, I could just color off those legs and stuff with it. No. I always like a true metal more. I'm more comfortable with true metal. Fine non-metals are tricky. Sometimes it's like, I've tried to do ones where it like mimics bouncing light, and it just looks like I painted a very light blotch on something. And even if it is, does translate as, reflecting light, I feel like my eyes don't let me see it that way. Or maybe I just don't paint in that style enough to feel ever happy or confident with it. Like I would finish it and go, I should have done metallics. Or I should have done this, I should have done that. I shouldn't have experimented and ruined my mini. But if that was the case, all my minis would look the exact same. Like all my minis would be painted with testers if I didn't experiment with new paints. Oh my god, how awful would that be? It'd be so glossy. It'd just be like an impossible mini to photograph. Because that tester's paint is very glossy. It's like car paint finish. Which has its uses. Looks great on Gundams. And, model cars and stuff. I didn't even paint those two Gundams fully with testers. I just painted a few of their like pickups and details with a little bit of it. I thought they looked really good. So I'm just hitting his buckles now. Just gonna dance around and hit little flecks of chainmail and stuff. We just take our time, seek and destroy all the metal. All the basic metals. We'll come back and find maybe some gold or some chrome. Not chrome, tainted chrome. It's kind of like almost looks like a shiny bronze. Or a pale bronze. I don't know. It's an army painter metallic. But I think that would look pretty good. Probably need some, like maybe normal skeleton bone for those cloth. A little bit of Mornfang brown for those leather bits. And I'm actually going to go in on that. We just hit silver. I'm seeing it go. Let's try to touch that. Oh, that's some more stuff. I'm only doing this because I feel like the leather brown will do what I want. We can try it. You know what? Let's try it. Let's see what it does. Let's see what hardened leather does with malignant green as well. Can't be that bad. I hope. Hardened leather, here we go. Boop. So we're just gonna try to tickle the straps without getting it on too much. Oh no, this was not a good idea. This is gonna be messy. We'll probably go with a smaller brush because speed paint's runny and these are narrow. This is gonna bleed it all off the side of the bucket. Already is. Come on. Gotta pick that up. Pick it up. Yeah. A little flicky flick. A little dabby dab. Boop 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 boop. Boop boop boop. Good enough. Yeah, that's a tough one to trust. We're gonna have to go a touch smaller. Still too big. I'm just going for, which one is this? It's a nice little pointy Nulzer's Dungeons and Dragons. Whoop. The Detailer. So it's pretty much an army paint brush. But it's got a nice little point, and it has a nice little, like, twist to it. Not twist, but like a little, kind of like a flat, not a crook, but like it has a bit of a bend that I kind of like for doing flat surfaces. Little strands like this. Oh. So you can see there, travels with this other one on his belly there. See if I can. There we go. Sit on that there. Look a little better. Don't know if I love it, but I'll take it. His toes are now. We're just gonna do the same thing kind of on the back here. They're gonna be a little easier to hit. And we can just polish off those buckles after. Just make a nice mesh. This mess all over this end. It will come out clean and wonderful. Sometimes if painting just feels like one big ugly face until you're done. It's not really the case here. I've been really enjoying this, and I feel like it's going along well. But I have had those jobs where it's like I'm biting my nails the whole time, thinking, did I screw this bottle up? In there. Okay, and that's gonna hang off because that looks like it's just a dangly strap. Sorry, I'm totally blocking the vision here. My bad, guys. There we go. There we go. We can go around later and clean that leather up if need be. Ooh. That, damn, that sucked way too much. There we go. I'm just gonna keep putting this down, clean that off a little. That looks a little better, a little more bold anyway. Back straps are looking okay. I'm just going to touch these up. I think it'll be smarter to touch them up after than to try to start pulling that off, because I'm seeing bits and pieces where we might be having trouble with our primer, or at least the gray primer. So I'm seeing flashes of black through it, which is not good. Alright, let's get him his plasmatic bolt robes. Where we at? See here. Okay. That's fine. Let's see, before we get into hitting the plasmatic bolt, I'm going to take a quick little 5-minute, not even a 5-minute break. Give me like, you know, a minute, not even. I'm going to go fill my water, use a quick bathroom break, and give you guys a chance to do the same. We've been here for almost 3 hours, but I do want to get this plasmatic bolt on. It's on the pallet. We're using it. So just give me maybe a minute, maybe 2. No, I'll be back soon. I'll be back in like not even a minute. As long as it takes me to fill up water and go to the bathroom. See you soon. And we're back. Got my root beer. I know I said I was getting water, but I wanted root beer. Plasmatic bolt. Let's go. So we got Otto here. We're going to do his loincloth. We already gave it a little lick there and wiped it off so we could put the silver on. I probably didn't have to do that, but, you know, I'm just being picky. And dropping my brush. Old reliable. Hitting the floor. Actually, yeah, here. So, here's Citadel 1. Dry them off. There's Citadel 2. Both their tips are actually quite nice. Yeah, this guy's old reliable. You can tell because that's the metal that got stripped from the glue. But the bristles were fine. And I guess, you know, the backup is like, oh, that one's so pristine, and I can make do with this guy. I don't need to break out a brand new brush. Oh, that new brush feel, though, is really nice. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with this plasmatic bolt, cover this all again. We're going to try to avoid the silver if we can. But I already just sloshed it in that pocket, so no harm, no foul. It can be cleaned. I could probably just, like, hose this whole back piece down without being too careful, and then kind of vacuum and use a clean brush instead of a sponge to precisely slurp all that pooled paint out of the pockets here. I'm gonna actually just try to be careful. I'm gonna have to go back anyway, so let's look. Turn. Yeah. Now it looks like his belly might be as kind of totally covers his belt here. Alright. So what I thought were blades are actually just the like light bits off his cloak. So he doesn't actually have a belt of swords. It's tatters. And I just read it wrong initially. So we're gonna help these tatters out a bit. As I'm doing this, I'm kind of having the afterthought that I painted Garuk's rag malignant green like these guys' skin, and now I'm like, oh man, it should have been plasmatic bolt. I don't think it's too late to go back, but I don't know if it's that big of a deal that I want to. I can make up some sort of excuse like, oh, it symbolizes his brotherhood with his brothers by repping their colors. I can say that. You guys will know better. That looks pretty good. And I like how that sits. It's vibrant enough that it'll catch your eye, but it doesn't really clash with everything. Gives a nice bit of regalness. I think it'll look really loud on the other dude's cape, and we're gonna go do that now. We're gonna take him, slap him back up there, just take a look at him. See, that kind of pops on his waist there. I like that. It'll really look poppy off this guy's cloak. So we're just gonna flip our magnet again, kind of smoosh it in the clay. Smoosh our clay back on our clay. Pluck our dude off. And land him down. Get a good look at him. Okay, before I jump on this guy, I'm going to jump into the comment section. See what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, they do look pretty cool up there. Just going to go boop. Take some of that off from the brush. Get a good look at this guy. Start down and we'll lick our way up. Yeah, I do like that. That's gonna pop nice. It's gonna look really good on him. I'm just gonna work that against his pockets, where his robe kind of gets folded into his skin folds. Yes. And it seems like these guys, they're abomination of skin mass and pestilence and plague. I guess they're pox. Seem to amass everything that they're wearing and kind of consumes their armor, their robes, belts and buckles. They kind of grow over it like a tree, it seems. I'm going to be really careful trying not to get it on this guy's face, or to put speed paint in a spot where it'll run into his hood. It'll be kind of tricky, but we got it. There we go. I'll probably come in with like a base layer paint and clean up some of the edges just a bit. Maybe a little more solid color pop. I can see where the malignant green and the plasmatic bolt are rubbing shoulders. They look really good. So I'm gonna do this. There we go. Now when I'm ducking down, you can still see me a bit. Should have done that earlier. I'm sorry about that. So I'm just gonna keep going with this. Arms back. Keep going with that full of his robe. There's a bit of malignant green in that little lip there. And we can worry about that. Oh shit. That is not what I wanted. That was bad. Just put a big smear of hardened leather where I wanted cosmetic bolts. So we're going to sponge that up. Try to clean it as fast and as best as we can. Yeah, where's that bounty brush? There we go. Like I never screwed that up. Hopefully. Put a little more plasmatic bolt on the palette. Back to our Citadeller. You'll probably switch to the monster brush. I'm gonna. It's just bigger. It's a bigger swooshiness of the speed paint. I feel like it is the brush that came, the style of brush that came with the speed paint kit. The speed paint 1.0 box, I guess. It does seem to be probably the better brushes for applying speed paint to larger areas, like to actually speed paint, like speed paint to go woo and just like douse that. This seems to be a good brush for it. Just get it all in there. And wash in and use some acrylics to hit those little pockets in his robes. I'll match some pea green to his skin. Just kind of do little dots and touch-ups. And try to avoid these little medallions. Sop up all the speed paint again. You don't want to be stingy with it. Like, you don't want to soak it and cool it, but you also don't want to be stingy and just kind of. You don't want to be doing like this with it. That's like not what you want. You just want to soak this bad boy. So yeah, don't worry about sloshing your speed paint and letting it cool. You kind of want enough medium for it to, like, I don't know if it's self-leveling or something, but it does kind of like shake hands with itself. Alright, I'm really liking it. That looks freaking awesome. It's a little white down there. We'll get a little extra there. And a little extra there. Ooh, kind of hit his tongue there. I feel like if I start going after that, I might remove the paint off his tongue. Yeah, see, we took off some of the malignant green as well, which we don't really want. So we'll have to come back and do some touch-ups. That'll be the safer bet. These. I don't know if these guys have like official colors. I believe their lore said they were from descendants from farmers of Nordland. I don't know if Nordland has a specific color. I feel like once they became Nurgle monsters, they probably didn't care as much. I'm going with that. They probably cared more for their Nurgle colors. Which, let's be honest, are pretty cool colors. They seem to be the bright and vibrant variety, despite their decaying and plague-like nature. Sometimes some of that stuff is yields some of the most vibrant color. I'm just gonna. Looks like he had some chainmail in there too. Not enough for me to go, oh no, I'm going back. I'm just gonna hit that and hope it gets kind of, you know, hope the slab chop does its job there and just kind of contrast in. And whatever little bits of white paint I had there will look silver enough. Or at least look the illusion of shine. Yeah, the malignant green is kind of making a neat lime, sort of blue-greeny, extra teal. I like it, but I don't think it's what I wanted to happen here. Still like it though, like that. Still look cool. Get this underside. Ooh, nice catch, Magnet. Look at that. Oh. Well. That was lucky. I think that Citadel, what was it? Aramin Blue? Aramin Blue? I don't know how to pronounce that. A-H-R-I-M-A-N. You can get Araman. I think that'll be a nice blue to kind of match with this. Do the little touch-ups and borders and stuff. Things that I really want tealified again. Use that and a little bit of green, and that should get me to this color. Okay, I'm seeing some issues. Some of the issues I am seeing right now are my primer. Some of my slap chop is getting, I guess, reduced, thinned out. I'm seeing little holes, little smidges of black here and there under the white, like where the white may have been rubbed off of that, the tip that you want it the most. Like, see right here, we'll say. You can probably see that. Ooh, too close. But right around here, there's like a big black line. Can you see now? I don't know, my focus is, I gotta play with that. But right around here, there's a bit of a tear in the white paint. So it almost looks like there's a rip in the robe where it shouldn't be a rip. Where that white is bouncing the contrast off, and then there's like a black tear in it. It's almost obvious. You can see that the white primer has been, you know, rubbed off or washed away by some of this medium, maybe. I don't know. It's a bit of a puzzler. Now it could be maybe they were primed black before I got them. So maybe whatever primer they were used previously. Because he was primed white, I had no problem. These guys were primed black, and I went with the slap chop over them. And it's not horrible, but there are areas where it is. No problem, we can fix that. We just keep going. Let's take a little look at where we're at now. I'm gonna keep him off there because he might rub some the speed paint. I don't want any plasmatic bolt-on rubs back. That should just take a second. Come on, there we go. Ooh, got it on upside down. Look at him. Yeah, I'm liking that. It's gonna take a little bit to dry. You can kind of see it's still a little wet in the bottom parts there. See his leg here where it's kind of shaking hands together. It's making that plasmatic bolt a little more green than I want. But we can deal with that. While that dries, I'm going to move to the comment section and see what's going on with you guys. Kind of rambling here and talking to the painting. Yeah, I find the Oopsie brush is a good tool for like precise removal or washing off areas, and the sponge is really good for kind of like polishing an area. So if there's like a bit of a pool, I can take an Oopsie brush and like and suck it up. Or if there's a bit of a smear I don't want, I can wet the brush and like wash it off quick. But if I like speed paint a layer and then want the paint to sit in the grooves but come off the surfaces, then that's the best time for one of those makeup brushes to just go and polish the surface. Alright, he's still a little wet. I don't know if I'm gonna trust putting him in Gruff's back yet. I'm gonna move him to here. That's the beauty of a magnet too, eh? We can move the magnet from the clay to another piece. Boom. So now he's just right here. Doo-doo-doo. And if I have another magnet somewhere, which I know I do, stuck somewhere to some piece of metal. There we go. Stick that in and hopefully I'm putting it the right way. Grab this guy's head. Boom. Okay. So we got his robe. Get a scythe. We got some armor. I can't tell if that thing's like a pouch or if it's like a gem or something. I think they both have one, so I'm guessing it's some kind of gem. Like a familiar gem between them. And there's a little more silver I missed. It's got that gem thing up there too on the site. Try going after his guts. Silver. Or we can start going after those yellow dots again. I feel like it might be a little soon for those on these guys. But why not? I see if that palette level is still. That's a little skinny. It's kind of formed itself into a bit of a skin on the palette. Probably saw a little blister there. You just go boop, get a little more. I'm gonna do a couple of skulls here. Mistake by doing this. Probably could have done a little more. Maybe done that disc first. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do his leg in. See that there's a plasmatic bolt on that, which could be bad. Hopefully there's enough pallid bone on this to negate it. Excess on. Probably come back to that on his boot. Do some metallic around there. Leave that kind of skull on his face. I'd come back with some skellabone. Yep, going with that skellabone. I feel like I need to make this medallion a little more zazzy. It's kind of flat bone. It kind of sits in the malignant green. Maybe some kind of like metal pop, bit of gold, something, and then put a nice bleached bone on top of it. Just kind of stumped with these. Thinking like, what kind of metal? Thinking maybe like an evil chrome or a cursed blade. They're a little more bronze. Scythe can be steel though. You can do that. I'm just gonna go back and forth with the things that we see. 10, 11. I'll go for a little longer. our scythe here. Actually gonna try to water down this lead belcher a bit. It's the airbrush paint. Ooh, look at that. So it just wants to bead up on that plastic. It wants nothing to do with that. Curious. Like, nice. It just jumped right to the side there. It's like, so that's lead belcher airbrush paint. Here, there's a bit of transparency to it because it is watery. It is airbrush paint and not straight lead belcher acrylic. I still feel like it shouldn't. Its behavior on that palette is kind of odd. Okay. So this little piece here. Okay, it actually covered it nicely. It's a little worried. This is his father's scythe, I believe, which I guess would make a classic farmer's weapon during siege. I believe the lore is his father, well, his whole family fell in battle, and as the three brothers, you know, commenced a slaughter of their enemies to save their family who were slain. This guy retrieved the scythe and, you know, is now his weapon. And Ethrak uses magic, inspired by, or learned from his mother. And then his influence by Nurgle made his life magics more face melty than helpful or beneficial to mankind. It's better for melting mankind's face. And Garek, yeah, he just became a brute force monster. It was neat learning about them all. Kind of like, okay, so it's not just a scythe he's carrying. It's not just Grim Reaper blade. This weapon has history. And these dudes have, you know, they're a family. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. It's weird that they're triplets, but I get it, you know. You know, it's like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger are twins. Yeah, that side's looking pretty good. I could probably doll it up with a few other metals, do the rivets and stuff. But for now, that blade's alright. Do that little ring too. And I don't know what that gem is or represents. I'll look into it maybe. Oh, it's just painted gold, bronze, something like that. A little up, we do some metal. It's sharp and pokey. Hang out the shoulder there. I will probably do Cursed Blade or Evil Crow for the shoulders. The more I go, the more I'm thinking something bronzy will help me. A little regal This guy ain't no chump. He's apparently one of Nurgle's best, so they can spare to splurge a little gold on him. That done. Let's get another belly piercing here. We'll get. I think we already got that. Okay. And touch up some of this chainmail I went over. Kind of plasma bolted. There we go. Sorry if I'm moving it away from the camera right now. Just working in a really tiny precise spot. I missed the leather strap. That's nice. Probably fix that quick. There's some leather right there. Yeah. Ooh. There we go. There you go on that side there. Looking good. Let's check in on our other dude. Yeah, this magnet flip is. Wish I thought of that part, but you know, I think that would have been a hard part to think of first. Didn't even cross my mind. Yikes! Oh, he's still got a wet spot. That's not good. And you dropping it probably doesn't help. So if there's any sections we can work on. Just gonna smooth this out so we can maybe go slide in. He has less metal. I know I did mention he had a part on his hand, and it looks like he has a pair of greaves on as well. So, kind of spiff up that hand with a little more malignant green. Good old brush lick. You can just do that so you don't have so much water pouring off your brush. Okay, so if I touch his fingers here, this is probably going to wash into that wood. And it might be a mistake, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. Okay, see. I might have actually hit his arm. Okay. See the reactivation there? There we go. His arm's going to be a little brown. That malignant green is going to try to eat that brown color. I'm just going to try to spread it around the thin end of it. Whatever, really wanted this for was to get the rest of his hand. Seems to have missed his claws. I'm just gonna go paint this whole thing that color and then figure the rest out. Okay. This foot is not a greave. And that is a foot. And this color is foot color. There we go. Alrighty. Hand looks good. Here. I'm just gonna do the whole hand. We can do the other colors on top. Might be better than missing something. Okay, so before I go any further, I'm going to take a second to poke my head at the comment section. Yeah, I like Plasmatic Bolt too. It's probably one of my favorites. Like when I first opened Speed Paint and saw the colors, Plasmatic Bolt was one that once I put down, I was like, oh damn, that looks good. So, but I try not to overuse it. It's kind of something I use for like the sci-fi glows. It sits on top of Army Painter's Poison Cloud. Really nice. It looks really sci-fi cool. Let's see what else. How do you find using airbrush paint with the brush? Oh, you know what? It's a little thinner. It's not too different though. Like, and it also depends on the airbrush paint. So, for example, these are, hold on, let me make sure I'm getting this. Focus there. So these mission models are, this is MMP-25 US Army Olive Drab FS34, I don't know, they code their paint so you can color match it. Like this is US Army Drab. The other one I have, I went into the hobby shop and was like, I need like heavy machinery or highway yellow. And the guy literally was like, here you go, and handed me highway heavy machinery yellow from 1930 to 1990. Mission models. So these are both like right there, the airbrush thingy on the side. They're good paint. They have a little bit of transparency. I think that's the main difference. Is or you have like your basic, you know, your Army Painter paints, you know, Skeleton Bone Air, your Demonic Yellow Air, your basic. I find these are a little more, or a little less transparent. I find the Citadels, depending on them, are a little watery and more transparent than they would be if they weren't airbrush paint. The Army Painter airbrush paints actually come in like a tiered system. So you'd have like 3 different colors of blue. One is like a solid base, the other one is kind of like a mid-tone, and the other one is almost like a transparent one on top. So you can like 3-tone color just by going like psh, 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 with 3 different colors. So it's kind of a nice system. Takes a bit of the thought work out of your layers. I don't know, like I just have a basic pack of the Army Painter War Paint airbrush paints and some of the fluorescents as well. But I don't have like any of the metallics or anything. I do have a bottle of airbrush medium from Army Painter that you can use with your paints to mix them into airbrush paints. But I find, you know, water does fine too. I put that away, but I still need some. It keeps kind of like floating off and bubbling up on my palette here, so I don't know if I trust it. So we get some screeve here. It's still a little wet. I don't know. You know what? Not bad. I'm not going to go into that pocket quite yet. But good to know we can. So we'll go back over in this little pocket here once that's dry later. And you know what? I'm just going to give a couple pokes and see what happens. Boop, 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 boop. Let's be brave. Oh, bravery pays off. So we'll have to add some wash on that. And take some of that paint out of my brush. Try to sponge it up so we can get a little more visibility of the textures there. Okay. A little slidey there. And we're going to go on the other side as well. Just here. There we go. We got a little bit of there. Oh, done screwed up there. Come on, come on, come on. I want to get that silver off without. That silver's on there. So yeah, it's very difficult. Once you get metallics in your speed paints, fighting over turf, the metallics usually win visibly. Like it'll shine above or below, or if they occupy the same spot, that metallic will be visible until you paint over it and then re-speed paint. Unless you can wash it off really quick. But I've found the metallic, that point when you're adding metallics in your speed paints, that's the only part you really got to be careful of, is because it's hard to hide your metallics. It's hard to hide a metallic screw up when it's reflecting the light right in your face. It is literally glaring right at you. Oh, this is looking pretty good. What are we at? We're at 10:30. Trying to think, where else can I go with this right now? Now, some of that speed paint is still wet, and I'm a little worried about reactivating it. If I go in with this Aramin blue and start making mixtures right now and going on top, I think I'm just gonna make a big friggin' mess. I'll probably do these flames actual flames. I like doing green fire, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Some pink and some gems. Yeah, I think we'll do some copper on these guys. Some cursed blade. And a little bit of fire. You know what? I'm not too sure. I kind of want to do a practice run of fire before I just start splattering fire on this guy. Fire is one that's always like, you know, I just red, yellow, orange, red, yellow, orange, red, yellow, orange. Just layer it on. And it usually works. But I'm never confident because it doesn't sound like a sound plan. Let's take a second to recap, shall we? Let's see where we're at. We might call it here. 3.5 hours is a pretty good session. Just to sit and get some little bit of work done. So let me let's bust it out here. Just recapping. We painted these guys with the malignant green. We painted them with some brown. We painted their cloaks. And we painted... Ooh, same thing on this guy pretty much. So we got these two guys. It's a good amount done. And what was probably the first maybe, I don't know, 40 minutes, close to an hour-ish, maybe, was getting our magnets sound. Okay, so that's nice. At least, ooh, are you buddy? So we can take a look at them up here, get an idea of where we're going with it. Pretty cool. I'm gonna stomp him over a little closer. I gotta move this clay thing. Alright, so they're hanging out up there. We got the magnets in nicely. Whoop. Oh man, I'm so happy with that. I could have ended this whole thing there and been like, yes. But no, it's Friday. We gotta hang out and paint for a while. So let's talk about our next steps. I'm just gonna kill a little more time here while we talk about maybe doing his tongue pink, these little pustules yellow, kind of match with these. But I don't want to do them right now because if it reactivates that paint, it's just gonna make a damn mess. We're gonna do some. I think we'll do some normal fire. There's so much green around. Maybe some blue fire, actually. White and blue flames complement what I hope to dab in these little skulls. Yeah, and we'll finish the armor. Some cursed blade. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how those magnets turned out. That was awesome. Just that crispy ding. Oh. So nice. Yeah, so we'll come back, tainted gold bell, cursed blade armor. I think, I don't know, I'm still kind of excited. I might even do a little bit of cheating. Maybe I'll get some more yellow dots out of the way, because God knows we've done enough of those. Alright. Let me just check the comment section here. See, red. Nice and blue squares. Thank you. I do think that, yeah, the plasmatic bulb was the right choice. I think if it was red, it would have just drowned at the top in red. Well, there would have been too much red on the model. So I also plan on putting a little more in the sores and wounds and gore. These two guys on top are going to have some red in their wounds. A red robe would have been way too much. Yeah, well, okay, I really hope that, any of the information that I gave you in this session was very helpful for getting your magnets onto your model. Or, like, it showed you that it could be easy enough, you don't have to worry about it. Just, remember your polarities, and you should be okay. Use the paper trick. That was very helpful. And I'm taking full credit on. I'm sure someone else has thought of it, but that one I literally was like, "How am I gonna? Oh, paper will slide. Like, why not? You need a divider between your magnets." So yeah, I'll take credit for that one. But everyone who is watching and hearing this is welcome to steal it if you haven't already thought of it. And I'm just being stupid. I'm late to the party, maybe. I don't know. Well, it's looking awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. Yeah, we're closing in a little over 3.5 hours. As always, I have a great time hanging out with you guys, and I will catch you next week. Maybe I might do a little cheating. I might get those dots out of the way. But thanks. Have a great weekend. Cheers.